Hey, welcome to this guided project on how to do no-code web scraping with Listly and how to clean that data in Excel using PowerQuery. It's going to be a quick guided project and it's going to be very high level, give you a basic understanding of how to do no-code web scraping, along with exposing you to some very basic concepts of web scraping, and also give you the basic high-level introduction to how to use PowerQuery to transform and clean your data in Excel. So let's get to it. Let's jump in. All right, first thing we're going to do is head over to listly.io. And here, what we're going to do is install the Listly Chrome extension in our Chrome browser. When the Listly Chrome extension installs, we can hit our puzzle piece up here in the right-hand corner, hit the pin, so that way we pin it and we always have it up for access whenever we're browsing. And then from here, we're going to go to healthgrades.com. And healthgrades.com is a repository of doctors based on conditions, procedures, and geographic area. And in the healthcare industry, what this data can be used for is basically competitive market intelligence. So if you have a program that you're looking to promote, or you're looking to partner with physicians on a new endeavor that you're doing, you can come here, find the physicians that you want to pull out and look at within your area that you're targeting, and use that data to contact them, or at least get a sense of who's in the area and who we could potentially partner with. And so what we're going to do is we're going to search in Pittsburgh, PA, and we're going to search for cardiac surgery specialists. And the initial results that come back are sorted by relevance. We're going to do highest rated. And here you can scroll down, you can see that there is now just a list of cardiac surgeons that are highly rated within the Pittsburgh region. And when you get to the bottom, you can see that there are 9 pages in total. So just a quick little blurb here on web scraping. If you move past either the free version of Listly, or you go into using Python or R for web scraping, these are what's known as sublinks, and sublinks require a little extra work to basically loop through these sublinks to pull out the data. With the free version of Listly, we can get this first page, but it would manually require us to go into each of these sublinks to pull it out, which wouldn't be too much work. I'll show you here how quick it would be to do that. So you could easily get 9 pages of data without doing too much manual work. But let's jump here to the Chrome extension for Listly. When we open this up with our free account, there's a couple different options here. If you have table data that you're looking to extract, which we do not, you can flip this switch on. And then the 2 other basic areas are whole and part. Part lets you pick out specific sections to scrape the data from. So you can see how it highlights different areas as we go over here. Now, you can see here we have highlighted Dr. David Brown's section. If we were to click this, it would only pull back the data within that section and none of the other sections. So what we want to do is we want to scrape the whole page. So we'll come up here and we'll hit hold, and Listly will do its work. And what it brings back is a bunch of data. And so there's a bunch of different settings here that we really don't need to play around with. But the important things are down here. Select a tab to extract. And these different tabs are different areas from the page. And you can click through them. So you can see we pulled back some ads that link out to somewhere. You can see it pulled back some of the links that were on the page. But here's what we're interested in. This is all the physicians that were on that first page with their ratings, location, and some of the feedback that patients gave on them. And so what we're going to do is we're going to extract this to Excel. You can also extract to Google Sheets, but we're going to do Excel. And you can see it quickly downloads here. We're going to open that up, pull that over. And let's just take a look at the data quickly here. So what comes back, and you can easily see here in label 2 that label 2 should really be the column header for label 3 here. And so what's nice about this is it gives us a chance to work with some dirty data in PowerQuery. And so we're going to make a table out of this. So I'm going to hit Control-Shift-End, and we will say format as table. And we'll give it a nice title like PGH CT Surge. And then we'll go to the Data tab, and we'll hit From Table Range here. And what this does is it will bring up PowerQuery. And in PowerQuery, we have our data. So PowerQuery at its basic is a very nice point-and-click data cleaning, data formatting, data manipulation tool within Excel. And it's really the V10 engine for Excel once you get into it, because there's more things you can do, like add custom columns based on different logic. You can even get to the point where you get into the advanced editor where you can write custom M code to do a lot of crazy things. And then even more, if you're using PowerQuery and Power BI, you can even integrate Python and R into it with Python and R scripts. But for our purposes here, we're going to do some basic data manipulation here with PowerQuery. So let's pick what labels we want to keep, or which columns we want to keep, and which ones we want to get rid of. We can get rid of this one. Let's keep label 4. We'll get rid of label 5. So if you want to multi-click, you hit Control. And then we'll keep this one. We can play around. We can play around with this and pull out the number of ratings that went into the ratings for the physician. And we'll keep the address, distance, patient tells us. I don't know if we need this for our purposes. We'll just go all the way down. We'll hit remove. All right. So we selected all the columns we want to remove. Just right click and we'll hit remove columns. And you can see as we make changes, the changes appear over here on the right hand side. And you can even rename these. So remove columns, removed. You don't necessarily need to rename this, but just for illustration, remove useless. Let's say useless columns. All right, and then let's rename some of these. So we'll say name. Oh, that one didn't get removed. Let's remove those since they didn't get removed. All right. So we whittled this down to a pretty basic data set here that we can work with. So let's rename these. We'll rename this name specialty rating number. Let's see, number reviews, address, do address 2. We'll clean this up and we'll say distance. Okay. All right, so first thing we see here is we can obviously tell that we do not want this null value in our data. And so since we can see that there's no other nulls and we understand that the null's basically been pulled back because there wasn't any data in a certain section on the website, we can click the down arrow and uncheck the null, and that will remove null values from our data set. So our name looks good, our specialty looks good, which is interesting because we have some general surgeons in here under, even though we said cardiac surgery. Rating looks good, and you can even see here like the various data types. So if we had wanted to change the rating, if this had come in as a text, we could change it to a decimal number. and so on and so forth. So now we get to number of reviews. So what we want is really this number in here. So 38, 12, 13. So let's see how we can do this. So we want to split by delimiter. Let's see if they have a by digit to non-digit. All right, that got us close. And let's do non-digit to digit. All right, there we go. So that worked. So from here, what we'll do is we'll just delete these two that we don't want. So actually, let me back up. So if you can see what we did, so we split from digit to non-digit, which gave us split these columns out and put in the non-digits here, and then we did non-digit to digit, which split these out. And so, because we wanted just the number of ratings that went into the overall rating, and so we will use Control-Click to highlight these two columns, remove the columns, and then we'll change this to a whole number here. Okay, so that looks good. The initial address looks good. It looks like our street address. And then this here, we want to separate this out. So we want city, state, and zip. So what we can do is split by delimiter, and we'll use that comma first. So we'll do split column by delimiter. And we'll do the leftmost comma. So that gives us our city, and then we will split by space on address 2.2. So split column by delimiter again, but this time we will do, let's see what we want to do. Space, yep, space. Okay. All right, so it looks like there was a space before the states in here. That's not an issue. You could have eliminated that by cleaning it, but what we'll just do is simply delete this column. Okay, so let's name this something that makes sense. So we'll do city, state, and zip. Okay. And then lastly here with distance, let's just do the number. So what we'll do is, again, split column by delimiter. And so what we'll do is, since we have we'll pause here and we'll explain this a little more. So since we have the numbers first in this, what we can do is split column by delimiter. You're going over there, split column by delimiter, and then we'll do digit to non-digit since we have the digits first, and we want to separate those out. If we did non-digit to digit, then you would want some text first, and then you have your digit that appears in the middle of it. So we'll do digit to non-digit. That gets us all of our, I guess we lost the dots there. But that's okay. We don't need to be that precise. So we'll just do that and then remove those, and we'll rename this distance and change that to a whole number. Okay. And so we will, since we got this clean now, we can hit load and close. And that brings back the clean data here. Now, the nice thing about PowerQuery is, say that you wanted to go back and you wanted to extract page 2 of what we just did. So we extract page 2 here, go back up to the Listly Chrome extension, we hit whole, we'll run it again. We can then export that to Excel. And we get we get the same exact output. There might be some differences in these ending labels. But what we can do here And there's a couple different options of what you can do. Probably the best option is just going to be a copy and paste the data into this table here. So let's just make sure we got that. All right. All right. So there's your page 2. So now if I go over here to my Power Query that I set up, and I go to the query and I hit refresh, we can see that all of those positions are now in here because we did one cleaning, and we can just, if we have a similar structure, bring in new data that way. And so here you go. This is what you have. You have all these positions here. You have practice locations, and it gives you a very nice way of putting together a list of physicians that you might want to target. I mean, we can even go back here. Let's see. So we want to do another page. Do it. There we go. So let's pull this out. Do the pull. And as you can see, this doesn't take a whole lot of time. Yeah, it'd be more efficient if we paid for the premium version of Listly and just simply use that, Control-Shift-N, and simply use that to extract all the sublinks. But is it worth the money? It depends on what you're doing. So if you need to have a bunch of, if you're going to have a recurring web scrape that you need, that's one thing that Listly lets you do with the premium version is schedule web scrapes. And there's a litany of other things. You can go to their website to see what they provide with that paid subscription. But again, here we just pasted the third page results here. We'll go to query, hit refresh, and it all pulls over. Pretty neat stuff. Again, this is just a very brief introduction to Power Query and how you can use no-code tools and Power Query to basically create some competitive market intelligence. And it gives you a great start to understanding and using Power Query, and introduces you to the concept of web scraping in a little bit, in a small way. And a big thank you to Listly for sponsoring this guided project so that I can continue to create content for free so that others can learn, upskill, and break into data. Until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.